Store pick.
Store pick. Stanley Station. High and Wicked. Sweet mash. High rye. Whiskey. On this episode of Savor the Burn. Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, welcome to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Over to your right is Mr. W2. How do you do?
I'm doing great, and I am very excited to get into this bottle.
Girl, same.
We picked up last year, I don't remember when that was, but the Whiskey Snug in Weston got one of, I think there was 3-4 barrels available. It was super limited, and they were the first pick of that store pick single barrel Kentucky straight rye.
Is that because High and Wicked hasn't been around that long?
They have been around for a little while, but
not like
the Snug's kind of a big deal.
The Snug is a pretty big deal.
They're a big deal.
It's tucked away up there in Weston behind. It's almost like a speakeasy kind of liquor store because it's
very much so
behind.
Yes,
another store that's
little spiral staircase.
Yep. And then you go up there to that bar, and if you subscribe, like a monthly thing, you get exclusive access to it.
But that was their straight rye.
And you get a pour a month or something like that. It's a lot.
This is their Kentucky straight bourbon store pick cask strength. I don't know how.
This is rye. This is their.
No, it is not. This is a bourbon.
It says high rye. It's a high rye bourbon.
It's a high rye bourbon.
Sweet Jesus. There I was calling it a
whiskey.
I thought it was a rye night. Silly me.
It was a rye night, but now it's a bourbon night.
Anyway, sorry.
So, I don't know how exclusive the bourbon barrels are for their program. But Stanley Station out in Olathe, 151st and 69 Highway, did a barrel pick, and they got this one. So, I got talking with our friend Brandon, who is works with High and Wicked, and he's actually the one that told me that Stanley Station had picked it, and it was available. So I ran out there to pick it up. And wanted to get this on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's great color, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is one of the darker ones we have. I wonder, is there an age statement on it?
This is a 5-year.
5-year.
Kentucky straight bourbon.
Okay. All right. Well, what do the regular?
Let's
you talk, I pour.
Yes, sir. So High and Wicked Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, store pick, single barrel cask strength. This is distilled, bottled, all the things in Kentucky, so that's why it makes it a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It is a 5-year high rye sweet mash bourbon coming in at 51% corn, 39% rye.
Pause for the pop.
Very nice.
Composite. Composite's got a tighter pop to it.
And 10% malted barley. This one comes in at 123.6 proof. It is absolutely worth mentioning that this is a non-chill filtered, picked for Stanley Station in Olathe, Kansas.
Wow, it's got from here it's got a certain something to it.
A certain something.
Wipe this up here with a finger.
Does that certain something have legs? Let's find out. It's got a great color. And yeah, there's
like a medium amber.
There's some legs forming.
Yeah, my legs haven't formed yet, so you definitely know it's a little thicker than the
right.
average bear. But yeah, I mean that's how it's going to be.
There's a proof burn on that nose, so be careful.
All right, so it's barrel picked. Does that mean it's uncut? What are we at here?
It is cask strength.
123.6. 3.6. So yeah, it's. You say cask strength.
It is cask strength. It is single barrel. And it is a store pick. So Stanley Station sat down and had at least a few barrels to choose from.
Man, I'm glad you pointed out that it was a bourbon and not a rye.
High rye.
It says high
Sweet
rye,
mash,
but when I smell
bourbon.
it on the nose, it's got the regular
rye.
suspects for bourbon.
It's got 39% rye.
39%. All right, that's what they call high rye nowadays.
Well, it's a
39%.
Hey, it's 51. It is a bourbon. So
it's got to be 51%.
It has to
corn.
be 51% corn, which it does have 51% corn.
And it smells like corn sweet.
And it has 10% barley. So if you get any grassy notes, guess what?
Really?
That would be the barley.
Huh.
10% barley. Yep.
I'm picking up a little bit of funk. It's got like a little, like sourdough kind of thing going on with it. That makes sense?
Yeah, I am out of sourdough.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, you toast it. You put some like orange or apricot jam on that sumbitch. Woo. Fat boy's got to feed. So we got caramel.
So we got some oak going on. Maybe a little bit of char in that oak.
Oak and char. I'll put that down right there.
There's definitely some
agree.
fleshy stone fruit going on.
Fleshy stone fruit. So you're talking
plum or apricot.
Okay.
Peach.
Yeah. But yeah, whenever we talk about stone fruit, nobody else calls it fleshy stone fruit but us.
Hey.
So, if you go on savortheburn.com/liquor cabinet, scroll down, you find this bottle, you're going to see where it says in the tasting notes under nose, fleshy stone fruit. And that's exactly what we mean.
There's a difference.
Like you said, plum, nectarine, peach.
Because, those are the fruits that have a little bit, I don't want to say tougher, but they've got a little bit more substance to the skin on the outside of it. Yeah. So when you bite into it...
Especially peach.
It has... and plum. Mm-hmm. It has a little bit more to it than just the ooey gooeyness on the inside.
So you said barley. I didn't agree with you until I just got my 700 fucking nose.
So I mentioned that because I was reading the mash bill, and the mash bill has 10% malted barley. So I wasn't saying I immediately got it. I was saying if you get a little bit of those grassy notes, that's probably going to be that 10% barley. To me, that's a pretty. To me, 10. Even though it's only 10%, to me, I feel like 10% is a healthy amount of barley for a bourbon.
Yeah, that makes sense. And some people use it just because it's a cheap grain. They can throw that in their mash, and it adds fullness to the whole thing. But I think if you use it correctly, it's a wonderful ingredient.
You think about Scotch.
Yeah,
Scotch is mostly barley, and it's mostly barley because
that's what grows out there, man. I think their winters are too short to grow a whole lot of corn.
I think they started switching to wheat and corn.
Yeah,
more so wheat than corn. Yeah. For a cheaper.
Wheat will be easier to grow, but I'm sure with as wet as it is out there, they might have a problem with mold.
But barley is.
And if you remember anything about the Salem witch trials, that mold and like hay mold and wheat mold, there's a name for it. I forgot what it's called. There's a scientific name for it. Excuse the shit out of me.
You know what? Look at that.
Am I getting better with my pours?
That's a pretty solid pour right there.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
The great thing about the Glencairns is if you do a perfect pour,
which is how many ounces? Is it ounce and a half?
I think it's an ounce and a half.
Ounce and a half, 1 ounce.
You turn it on its side, and it should come right to the lip.
That is wild. I really do try. So the rye on this smells like, to me anyway, it smells like, because I've been going through my ryes at home lately and murdering bottles. Just, it's for the podcast.
I understand.
It's for the podcast, guys.
Well, you got to make room because there's more bottles coming.
Do have to. There's always another bottle on the shelf, but or there's another spot on the shelf that needs another bottle. But
how would they know? They're not gonna know.
You saw that video. What'd you think of that video? like I didn't even plan it that way when I brought the mug over. Like the music, you know, it kicked in. I was like, oh my God. I didn't even notice it until I watched it like later on that day. How fucking wild.
Great.
Yeah, check the shorts on YouTube if you don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get this on the palate.
Yeah, one point real quick. When it comes to the rye in this, it smells to me like there's a mix between malted and unmalted.
Okay.
Because it smells like the dry grain rye, and maybe that's just a little touch of the cereal notes coming through on the second nose.
There's honey on the nose too.
I haven't.
If you haven't written that
Picking up honey, I have not. Caramel. I'll do a dash. Actually, I should do a comma. Corn sweet honey.
And now.
Yes. I forgot it was 120 plus until I got it on the until I got it on the palate. What'd you say it was?
123.6.
3.6. Okay.
What is that? There's some smoke that comes forward on the palate. Not quite campfire, but a little, just a little bit of a.
I don't know why I wasn't prepared for that. I was not prepared for 120.
There's a vanilla caramel that comes through. The char.
I should be writing this down.
There's definitely a char level 4 going on with that. It's cask strength, so that it makes sense that we would get. I'm curious if we hold this up to the light. Is there any sediment floating around in there?
I didn't see any when I looked in there before. It's just a few bubbles here and there, but
it's pretty clean.
Yeah, they must have filtered it somehow, whether it be charcoal to kind of mellow it out, or I don't know if maybe they chill filtered it. We'd be able to tell if we put a little bit of water in there. Put water in there, you get the floaties. If you've ever seen it, trying to drink it neat. I'm not ready for that yet, but
okay.
if you are, feel free. But yeah, if you get floaties in there, it's not because there's mosquito larvae dancing around in your whiskey. It's because the fats have come together because they're whiskey soluble, for lack of a better term. Because I don't know the lingo, and they'll come together right now over me if you just add water. A little Aerosmith for you if you're paying attention. You got it. Real quick, go back to the palate notes. You said vanilla and caramel.
I did say vanilla.
Barrel. Yeah. I got oak.
Yeah. Charred
the rye's
oak.
There.
The rye is there. Full-on sourdough rye bread.
I didn't write that down. Sour on the rye. I put Ray instead of rye. I put Ray.
I think some of those.
Sometimes we pick up on like pumpernickel rye, and I really like those. This one.
I don't think this one's pumpernickel. I think this is a sourdough rye, maybe kind of like that marbled. Rye maybe. But I was gonna say that I think that the fleshy stone fruits on the nose come through on the palate.
Really? I thought they got lost.
No, I got a little bit of peach, definitely. And I'm going to say the honey turns to a burnt brown sugar. But there's something else there.
There is something else there. And it reminds me just a little bit of both the 10-year rye bourbon from Michter's and this toasted rye from Elijah Craig. There's just a little bit of that, just a whisper of a hint.
That finish is...
The finish is long and warm.
Kentucky hug.
Kentucky hug.
Kentucky cold winter hug.
Yeah, this would be great this would be great on a winter's night.
I mean,
like, long hard day at work. It's just like
my beard takes care of me, but it's all up in the throat, just kind of warming it all up.
I'd say that caramel carries through to the finish. The rye is still there, and corn. For me, the corn shows back up on the finish. I didn't pick up much on the corn on the palate, but for me, it's right there on the finish. I like how long and warm that finish is.
Yes.
I mean, this would be great in a Manhattan or an old fashioned, especially. Maybe not with Demerara syrup, maybe just like brown sugar, because you picked up on burnt brown sugar on the palate. Maybe regular brown sugar, mashing that cherry in there, barrel-aged cherry, Woodford Reserve barrel-aged cherry. If you want to know where to find these things that we're talking about, go to savorthebourbon.com/shop. Scroll down past the T-shirts, past the Flavier affiliate
Well, don't go
links.
past the T-shirts. Get yourself a T-shirt.
Get yourself a T-shirt, if and you want to. We want you to, because one, they're made out of great fabric. They're not the Gildan brand. They're very soft and they're breathable, which makes it great on a hot summer day. It also makes it great in the fall and winter time because we all like to wear layers.
Yep.
Anyway, so it's a great thing.
You help our podcast.
You help the podcast. You help support small business.
And
our
also,
friend Krista.
they were produced by our friend Krista,
Bass
a
player in
local
Moray.
small business that does amazing silkscreen.
I guess you can't call her the bass player in Moray because Moray's no more. Which really fucking bums me out. Like if you want to check out Moray, M-O-I?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
M-O-I-R-E. They've got a few videos on YouTube. Definitely check them out.
Dude, get yourself some water in there.
Yeah? Is there any left in here?
Well, you got
okay. Sorry. How much did you put in yours?
About half of it.
There it is. Half of it? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's whole, that's half, right about there.
Yeah.
That much?
Yeah.
That's too much for that.
I do just a little bit less than that. There you go. There you go.
I'll do that.
Perfect.
3/4 of an inch of water in my bourbon.
I'm going to quote you on that. Measure the inch by that first knuckle.
Yeah, right here. That one there. Actually, it's second knuckle. I never learned to count, but right there, that one, that's right about 1 inch. So that was about 3/4 of an inch of, what do they call that? That little tool?
Oh, the pipette?
Pipette.
The Glencairn pipette.
Right, and it's Glencairn all the way.
If you look,
is that in the shop?
The top of it, I don't think I've added that to the shop. But yeah, it's got the same shape as the Glencairn glass right on top.
Oh wow, that changed the nose.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, there's more charcoal, more char. There's like a little bit of smoke. The stone fruit.
It turned it
pops.
It turned it to custard.
Stone fruit pops, dude.
Yep.
Oak fucking woke up. Oak woke up. It's almost fuck. It almost feels a little bit hotter on the palate. That's wild. That's not the first one to do that to us. The legs got skinnier, but they sure are long. Can you see those? I don't know if you can see that. They sure are long and skinny, like Taylor Momsen's legs. Which, no offense to Taylor Momsen, I really do dig her music.
That is a tight cork.
Had they proofed this down a little bit, that'd be a completely different palate, completely different experience. Period.
So early on, you made the comment about maybe we should get their standard offering, which I think their standard offering is like 97, 96 proof.
That's pretty fucking high proof for a standard offering.
I think it is 96. I might. Yeah, I might have to look that back up.
That's all right. If we're wrong, leave us a comment.
Yeah, but that said, though, it's higher than a lot of others. Definitely less than this. That might be just enough.
I'm gonna work on my math here.
You know what? I did not read the tasting notes I got. Which the tasting notes I have is their standard generic, not their standard offering. It is their cask strength offering, but this is a store pick, so it's going to be slightly different than that. But their standard cask strength offering of this, their tasting notes on the nose say bold dark fruits, berries, pipe tobacco. You said tobacco. Or did you say leather? You said leather.
Not tonight. I did on a previous episode.
Okay. Vanilla, pipe tobacco, vanilla, and caramel. Rich and sweet on the nose with significant layers, hints of leather, caramelized orange, cinnamon, and coffee cake. Further showcasing subtle toasted nutty notes reminiscent of toasted pecans and pecan pie.
Oh, that's on the nose?
Oh, that's just the nose.
All right. So I did not pick, let's see, bold dark fruits. We got dark fruits. Is that stone fruits? Some of it? I don't know. Berries,
We said
no.
we did say plums. So yeah, I would say dark fruit.
The flesh isn't dark, but anyway, pipe tobacco.
I didn't get
that.
Vanilla, yes. Caramel, yes. Hints of leather and caramelized orange, maybe.
In retrospect,
maybe.
Yeah, I could throw
cinnamon, yes. Coffee cake.
No, I didn't pick up on any baking spices. I didn't pick up on baking spices. Is that full?
Yeah.
Or is that pipette?
No, this is a report.
Okay.
I think there's at least cinnamon there. Further showcasing subtle toasted nutty notes reminiscent of toasted pecans and pecan pie. I don't get pecan pie.
I don't either. I love pecan pie. Jennifer loves it way more than any human on this planet. But
so on the palate, it says assertive, full flavored, yes, and complex, yes. This is a big spirit hitting all aspects of the palate, from subtle fruit sweetness. I'm gonna start all over.
Yeah.
Assertive, full flavored, and complex. This is a big spirit hitting all aspects of the palate, from subtle fruit sweetness, nice tannins, and finishing with a lingering honey and nutty quality. The spice from the high rye presents as toasted cinnamon with a subtle black pepper note. Okay. But overall has caramelized sweets and fruits throughout. A rich and distinctive sipper with an impactful niche. Because this is a high rye, I do agree with the pepper.
Yeah.
The pepper note.
I'd agree with that for sure.
The high rye of this is definitely presenting some of those pepper notes.
Really? That's a lower score than I thought I'd give this.
Lingering honey? Yep, all day long. Nutty quality?
Yeah, so
maybe?
there's a slight bit of nuttiness that you can find on the palate.
I mean, we bring a slight bit of nuttiness to the equation. So
who you calling nutty? Nut? As far as a single barrel experience goes, you said barrel strength?
Mm-hmm. Single barrel strength. Cask. Yeah, and that's one of the confusing things is so many different distilleries, expressions use slightly different terms. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's intentional, but cask strength, barrel strength,
that means the same
barrel
thing.
Proof. Yeah, I believe barrel strength and cask strength mean the same thing. Barrel proof, however, in most cases refers to the fact that for a bourbon, it can be no higher than 125 proof going into the barrel. Mm-hmm. So barrel proof refers to it being around that 125
I thought barrel proof meant how it comes out of the barrel.
No, it's 125 proof. Going in the barrel, it cannot be any hotter than 125 proof. Okay. So
you're going to call it bourbon.
So a lot of times, if something is, and I'm blanking on which one it is, we had it recently, but it was 125 proof, and it was labeled as barrel proof.
Okay.
For that reason.
Okay. So we just call this cask strength. So barrel proof can be a little bit of a tricky.
Yeah.
Word, phrase, term to use.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed this. I really did. So I'm a little concerned about my number here, but my final number, we'll get to it.
Yeah. Nose, I
gave it a 4 even.
Where you at? 4.25.
4.25. Wow. Okay. Well, if this is indicative to the rest of the rating process, I may have gone too low on some of these. Palate. What did you give it on the palate?
4.5.
I gave it a full point lower, 3.5. We had so much going on here. Vanilla, caramel.
You got lost.
Barrel char. Honestly, I did. For this being a single barrel, what we usually get with a single barrel experience is fewer notes, but much higher impact on those notes.
Okay.
But this one here, I can't imagine, we just proofed it down by 3/4 of an inch in the pipette full of water.
Dude, you make this as an old fashioned.
Oh man, it might be one of the best old fashions you could ever ask
with a large 2-inch cube.
Oh yeah,
forget about it.
Yeah. So we had vanilla, caramel, barrel char, oak, burnt brown sugar, rye, nuttiness, black pepper, sourdough, marbled rye, fleshy stone fruit, peach, nuttiness. So there was so much going on here, pull after pull after pull, taste after taste after taste, and we got a real chance to be introduced to this thing and really get to know it. But for me, my personal score, 0 to 5, that's how we do this thing, 3.5.
All right.
And actually, that's where I ended up on the finish as well. How about you?
4 3/4.
Holy shit. All right, so you hardly, I can't say never, you hardly ever go higher on the finish than you did on the palate.
To me, yeah.
A lot of times you match the palate or
the
drop it down.
finish opened up on
point.
this one.
On the finish, we got
I found
long
6
and warm.
gear on this one.
He found 11. We got Kentucky Hug.
And I don't have a Harley that has a 6-speed transmission.
Yeah.
All 3 of my Harleys have a 5-speed transmission. So all the newer Harleys
on a motorcycle, man, that's a lot of gears.
all the newer Harleys are all 6 speeds. I found a 6th gear on this finish.
He found the 6th gear. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with 6th glass.
What?
That beer is a whole lot of fun. But if you reach that 6th glass of beer,
I do like me some 6th glass.
Turn into the devil himself.
I don't think they make that anymore.
I don't think they do either.
I haven't seen it.
Which is really unfortunate.
It's so good.
But yeah, so on the finish we found long and warm. You found the Kentucky Hug, and you're 100% right. Caramel, there's rye, there's the corn sweetness in there. I didn't really add anything else to it because we didn't really get into that a whole lot. But we both enjoyed the finish. Nothing wrong with the finish. Yeah. Bottle presentation. I don't remember what it was that you gave on the barrel pick from Whiskey Snug, but I can hold that up here. You gave it a 4.5 on the last bottle, and it's. I don't know how, but honestly, I don't know how I gave it a 4.25.
Oh, I do.
But I'm gonna go ahead and
whiskey.
We got a little past whiskey 30, and we started going willy nilly with some of these things, but
4.5's a ridiculous score for a presentation.
A 4 means we got a wow. Like, wow, that's cool, man. But
I gave it a 3.75.
3.75. I should have dropped mine down to 3.75, honestly. But since I gave the last one a 4.25, I gave this one a 4.25.
In all fairness, though, since we did the straight rye from the Snug, we've also had a flight of Bookers. We've had the Little Book. Yeah. We've had multiple Blantons. We've had the Lineage. Good God, that's a 5+ all day long. And who makes that one?
Jim Beam. You get it.
We've had a lot of 5s. We've had a lot of 4.5, 4 3/4. I
question why we gave this.
I'm thinking back, and I'm like, and I'm shocked as to why I would have given that a 4.5.
It's your standard whiskey bottle shape.
It is
reminiscent of like a Weller bottle with a little bit of a bulb. It's got the slight taper on a like a wine. It's like a shouldered wine.
And for a reference
bottle,
it has the store pick band on the bottom, same as this one.
Same as this.
The exact same tape over the top of it. It's identical.
Exact same
in every
black wood.
Dude, look at the color.
Topper.
The color on the rye is dark.
Composite cork.
But they're still both still great colors. This one's got a little bit more red in it.
A decent size base on the bottom. As far as the punt goes, we're looking at
typical ashtray bottom.
Yeah, Taco Bell ashtray. Punt back there on the bottom. You remember Taco Bell ashtrays? What they look like? That's what it looks like down here on the bottom.
Dude, I am that old. I do remember Taco
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
And Pizza Hut ashtrays.
Oh, Pizza Hut had them too? Oh, yeah, I do remember. They were taller. They were
and they were black, and I think they were square.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, we digress.
Yes. Those were the days. All right, so we talked about nose, palate, and real quick, we don't always talk about our rating system. Right. And we do need to remind people exactly how that goes. We go 0 to 5 on nose, palate, finish, bottle presentation.
That's a possible 20.
Possible 20. We add all those scores up, whatever we gave it, whatever he gave it, whatever you give it. You can give us your own score and let us know. Oh. But what we do is we go 0 to 5, and we add those up.
4 categories.
4 categories. We add those up, and we divide that number by 2, and that's how we end up with our
1 to 10 rating.
Our 1 to 10 rating on our final score. So that said, W2, Mr. Wizard Fingers, what was your final score?
8.5.
You gave this bad boy an 8.5, and I gave it a 7 5/8. So we are past our quarter point to half point spread that we normally do.
Not quite a full point.
Not quite full. But this is...
it's all good. Hey, you dig what you dig.
Right.
The best whiskey is the whiskey you enjoy.
That's right. That's Whiskey Tribe rules. Which reminds me, if you're looking for a wealth of information as far as whiskey goes and what you can do with it and the tastings involved with it, definitely check out the catalog, the back catalog, or the current episodes of Whiskey Tribe on YouTube. And it used to be Daniel and Rex. And now, and sometimes Brianna, Banana, whatever you want to call her. But now it's pretty much just Rex and Brianna. But they had to split up. It's a whole thing. It's a legal thing, unfortunately, with the United States government. But sometimes the United States government is a good thing. Sometimes it just ruins everything. And unfortunately for Whiskey Tribe, it didn't ruin it, but it really kind of messed things up. But luckily for us, Daniel has his own YouTube channel. What was it called?
Whiskey Vault.
Whiskey Vault, and he'll get into
awesome.
He'll get into the history.
The nerdery of whiskey.
Yeah, it's like a nerd level 10 when it comes to Whiskey Vault with Daniel Whittington, right?
Yep.
And he's great. It's wonderful, and we haven't talked about it in a while. But another thing we'd like you guys to check out is the whiskey groups on Facebook. If you're our age, you're probably on Facebook. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, no matter how you're listening to this, we are a part of Savor the Burn is part of 3. You've got Whiskey Tribe, like we just talked about, the YouTube. This is their Facebook group. Thank you. We're part of the Kansas City Whiskey Guild. And we're part of the Kansas City Bourbon and Whiskey Club on the Facebook groups. So we post our once a week. We'll post our bottles that we're going to taste, and just to try to see if there's anybody out there in the community that may or may not have had this before, and see what they have to say about it. And we'll add those things to our reviews and take that into consideration, that kind of thing. But we highly encourage you to check out these different things, and also check out Thirsty Whale on YouTube or Instagram. Check out
High Proof Preacher.
High Proof Preacher. What a great dude
I love
that guy is. That guy, he. Like, when it comes to cocktails, his cocktail presentation, his cocktail knowledge, his whiskey knowledge, his spirit knowledge, period. Because it's not just, for him, it's not just whiskey. It's vodka, it's rum, it's whiskey, bourbon, rye. It's all the things, scotch. So,
and like, his artistry. The photography that he brings to it.
Yeah, his photog skills are off the chart. And his videography skills are off the chart. And,
hey, I wasn't trying to do a full pour here, but
yeah,
I ain't mad at that.
Let's see where I'm at. A little bit less than you, but that's all right, because I have to drive home. So yeah, we definitely encourage. Oh, and Bruzel, if you like to hunt bottles,
dude, that guy is all about hunting.
He's all about the bottle hunts, and I applaud him for that for sure. So when it comes to these barrel picks, it's hardly indicative to what you're going to find with their regular, everyday average
for sure.
Offerings. You know, you can't compare. And
single barrel does not compare to any size batch.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. If you've been watching this podcast for any length of time, you understand that.
Yeah, you're getting the best of the best of what that one barrel has to offer.
That one barrel. And we
and that's the cool thing with a store pick is typically, depending on the distillery, they're sending you
3 to 12, I think.
Samples, and whether it's a single person or a committee of people that are tasting it, and you're voting on, who likes what the best or whatever.
Yeah.
You're discerning it down to what the majority or what the bulk of everyone likes the best. Everyone's palate's different, but I just strongly feel that even though my palate is not the same as yours, it's not the same as yours, I feel like because the process of discerning down to a selected barrel,
right,
the probability of that barrel being a better barrel than what you're going to get from a batch of barrels is relatively high.
I would totally agree with that.
It's not going to mean that we're going to run out and give a 10 to all of these store picks.
Right. Because their palate is not our palate. That committee's, that groups, that single person's palate, collectively, whatever, or individually, is not ours. You saw tonight. I got a 7 and 5/8 score, and he's got an 8.5 on this bottle. Like, how did we manage to come up with that wide of a divide? I don't know. Actually, I do know. We're different people. Different people. You're different from us. We're different from you. And really, that doesn't matter. Real quick, before we go, when it comes to this particular single barrel bottle, if any of our viewers can, glean any, insight on this, yes, it's a fun pour, neat. But when it comes to a cocktail,
man,
what would you do with this? I mean, it's got a lot of rye to play with.
I would do any and everything.
Bourbon. Any and everything?
Any and everything, dude. This is old fashioned. This is Boulevardier. This is Manhattan. This is
Boulevardier is the unsung hero for a cocktail.
Boulevard.
What was the? Do you remember off the top of your head what the MSRP
for this bottle?
Yeah.
80, 85. It's a store pick, so it's a little bit more
be higher
than the standard. I think the standard offering is right around 70.
Okay, and we have yet to have that standard.
Yep.
Which is you know what, that's a pretty narrow margin between a standard OG versus a barrel pick.
So I
think
they have two standards. They have their lower proof standard, but they also have a standard cask strength.
Oh,
and that's what I'm referring to. The standard cask strength version of this is about a $70 bottle. Their lower proofed offering of this, I think, is closer to 50.
Okay. Well, that helps bring a couple things into perspective.
Brandon, if you're watching this episode, shoot us add a comment.
Yeah, add a comment. Send us an email if you want. You can email the podcast, info@savortheburn.com. You can email Dwayne directly, w2@savortheburn.com. Or if you want to, email it to me, and I'll forward it to W2. Jonathan, 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 @savortheburn.com. I think this bottle was very fun to explore, with all the different flavors that we found on the palate, on the nose, on the finish. It was difficult to explore at times because that higher proof really kind of it put that thing into it. I don't think I had a wow in there. Maybe on the nose. This was a fun bottle, I think. Honestly, guys, no matter who you are, where you are, what you're drinking, and who you're drinking it with, never forget. Keep on burning.